Hey, Rob here for Quadratec.com. Today we're checking out the Jeep Performance Parts 2-inch suspension system from Mopar for the 2018 and up Jeep Wrangler JL. Now this suspension has been designed by Jeep engineers to work perfectly with your Wrangler with absolutely no modifications to your Jeep required. And that means you're not going to be modifying or changing out your drive shafts. You don't even need to swap out any brake lines to get this kit installed. In fact, Jeep includes detailed installation instructions to walk you through it step by step. It should be a pretty easy install, taking just a few hours. And they've even gone as far as providing you with post-installation alignment specifications that you can take to your local dealership or your shop to make sure that they get your Jeep aligned perfectly within specifications set up for this suspension system. Now, they've even gone farther than that and given you new headlight alignment procedures that take into account the 2 inches of suspension lift in the kit. Now, like I mentioned, this is a 2-inch suspension system for the Wrangler, but because it's been designed specifically for the Jeep Wrangler JL, well, Jeep has taken into account all of the different model and engine configurations for the kit. So you want to make sure you order the specific kit that will work with your Jeep. And what I mean by that is that there are different part numbers for both the 2-door and the 4-door Wrangler, as well as depending on what engine you've set up in your Jeep. So if you've got that 2-liter 4-cylinder, if you've got the 3.6-liter V6, or if you've got the 3-liter diesel, Jeep has got a kit specifically to match your Wrangler and engine combination to make sure that the springs and the shocks are tuned correctly to provide you with that 2 inches of suspension lift, but also to provide you with factory-like handling after it's installed. Now, as you can see, you get a ton of parts in this kit. We've got everything laid out on the table here, minus a few bags of some nuts and bolts and the instructions, of course. But why don't we walk through step by step everything we've got laid out here so we can check out exactly what you're going to get. Now, starting down the end, we've got new front springs. Of course, you're going to get an OE quality spring with an OE quality finish on here, and they've even gone as far as installing these plastic isolators that are glued onto the spring here, and that's going to help with any kind of interference or rubbing issues under compression, so that spring's not going to be rubbing on itself, causing any wear or vibration or noise. Next down the line, we've got the shocks. Now, the Fox shocks that are included in these Jeep Performance Parts suspensions are exclusive to these kits, so you can't buy this shock by itself. It has to come in the kit, and with that, you're going to get a Jeep Performance Part specifically tuned Fox monotube shock. So the shock has been tuned to match the rate of the spring to give you the best level of performance, and with that, you're getting a 2.5-inch diameter body on here. It is a monotube shock, so it's got a larger volume of oil in here. It's going to help that shock body run cooler for better performance. Because it's a monotube, well, the gas and the oil are separated, so you're not going to run into any aeration occurring, which could decrease the level of performance from the shock. And Jeep has even gone as far as offsetting the mounting eyes on the shocks to allow for clearance of this large body shock, so you're not going to have any kind of interference or rubbing issues on the shock tower. Now, next up, we've got new front lower control arms. Now, these are the only control arms included in the kit. You don't need to swap any of the other arms out. But these arms have been extended over the factory arms to give you the correct caster angle once they're installed, so that you're not going to have any kind of adverse handling characteristics or premature tire wear, things like that. They do include a nice bend in the arm here that's going to give you the proper tire clearance. You're not going to have any rubbing issues with larger tires. They've even got factory mounting points here for your brake lines. One of the cool things I noticed here is the knurling on the bushing that's included in these arms. So when you tighten down the bolt, that knurling's actually going to bite into the mounting location, and then they're using a dual durometer style bushing here. So with that being held firmly in place, Jeep's actually relying on that bushing for the flex to allow the suspension to articulate and travel through the range of motion. Now, you're also going to get new front lower coil spring isolator pads here for the bottom of the coil mounting location on your axle. You're going to get 2-inch bump stop extensions for the front. You're also going to get extended sway bar end links for the front. Now, moving on to the rear, again, you're going to get everything needed in the kit. That includes new rear coil springs that have been matched specifically to your model Wrangler to give you that 2 inches of suspension lift, along with those exclusive Jeep Performance Parts Fox monotube shocks. Now, because the body of the shock is mounted up, that leaves the shaft of the shock down closer to the axle and in potentially harm's way of a rock when you're off-road. So to combat that, Jeep has even gone as far as designing these heavy-duty plastic kind of armor that gets attached to the bottom of the shock here to help kind of protect from any nicks or scratches on the shaft of the shock here. And I would imagine they would be a pretty easy swap out if they get damaged down the road. Now, you're also going to get your extended sway bar end links for the rear, in addition to extended 2-inch bump stops for the rear axle as well. So like I said, you're going to get a complete kit, nuts to bolts, front to back, everything you need. They've even included some decals and logos with the Jeep Performance Parts badge you can put on the side of your Wrangler, proudly show off what suspension you're running underneath of your Jeep. Now, one of the other cool features of this kit, of course, is just what it's delivered to you in. Jeep's not sending this to you in a cardboard box that you're going to chuck after it gets delivered, but they're actually sending it in this reusable wooden crate. Now, if your significant other will allow it, I think this thing would make an awesome coffee table, or maybe even a conversation piece out in the corner of your room, or maybe out in your garage. Now, if you guys want to get more information or purchase a Jeep Performance Parts 2-inch suspension system for your Wrangler, you can click on that info button to head over to Quadratec.com. Of course, if you have any comments or questions, you can leave those for us below or hit us up at any of the options on the screen in front of you. And you want to make sure you hit that subscribe button so you're sure to catch all of our latest Jeep Wrangler JL product reviews. Until next time, I'm Rob. I'll see you guys out on the trail.